Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Arsenal just beat Newcastle 3-2 in the regular time. Penalties at the moment, as I'm recording this, are still going on, but let's be real. Penalties at this stage, meh, who cares? Kinda, let's be real. We're gonna talk about the game, we're gonna talk about everything. Obviously, one of the biggest things surrounding today's game was the fact that Gyökeres was in the stands. Apparently, he was wheeled about 15-20 minutes before the game and everything. It's fantastic. We have our Gyökeres, our main number 9. We're going to talk about it more on the stream tonight, 8 p.m. UK time, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. But today's game, this was the starting 11 Arsenal put out with Havertz, Mangieri, Trossard, Saka, Marino, Zubimendi, Skelly, Calafiori, Saliba, White, and Raya. And the first part of the game was very, very interesting, I'm not gonna lie, because it felt very slow, very lethargic. Arsenal were doing their thing like they did the previous season, basically passing around, like every ball is moving, everything technically is going on, but at the end of the day, nothing is happening. We have some half chances, we try to cross, we try to do something, but at the end of the day, it results into nothing. On the other hand, Newcastle are very happy to stick back for a bit, let us have some possession, and then they just countered us for quite some time, and one of the counters resulted in a goal. Elanga scored, he kinda balloon-footed it, or something like that, similar like Saka scored against AC Milan. Something similar Elanga pulled off against us today, right? 1-0, it is what it is. After that, the game came more alive, and obviously Arsenal were trying to push, trying to create something, and again, we were hit on counters. And every time they went on a counter, it looked very fluid, it looked very dangerous, it looked like something could happen, and obviously it never materialized into a goal or anything like that. But Raya had to make a save, Raya had to do something like this, like that. Defense was always on their toes. So basically, it was more of the similar situations what happened last year, because last year we saw the same thing. Let's be real, we controlled possession, and we got hit a counter, bang, goal, 1-0 down. Which at the end of the day means and shows that, let's be real, possession means nothing. But, however, then there was a cooling break. And the cooling break, war break, was not the one that was happening before the actual one, but the one that actually was scheduled. And after that, the game kind of turned on its head. It feels that way. It kind of turned it on its head because Arsenal took control of the game to the maximum extent. Let's just put it that way. They started to pass more gingerly, more quickly. It was more direct. It was more dangerous, and bang. 1-0. Beautiful passing. Havertz, like the pass into Havertz, back heel to Marino, first time shot, bottom corner, bang, 1-1. Right? And we try to do this passing type of situational play quite a lot. Quite a bit consistently and everything. And when it comes off, it is fantastic. Let's be real. If it comes off, it is fantastic, like we saw with the first goal today. However, if it doesn't come off and we just try to, like, we bang our heads against the wall and it results into nothing, it is frustrating to say the least, and that's what we experienced quite a bit throughout the last season. And yeah, we tried to do it before, it didn't happen, and on one occasion it happened to maximum extent. Now, the second goal was an own goal by Murphy, banging finish, I'm not gonna lie, top bins and everything, phenomenal. Our strikers couldn't have done better, let's be real. And again, it was after a foul, Havertz crosses and he bangs it into his own goal, right? But again, Havertz was anonymous throughout almost the whole game, as long as he was on the pitch for the whole 60 minutes, right? But he got the assist for Marino goal, and then he got the cross for that Murphy on goal, right? Which kind of epitomizes Havertz to a T. He's anonymous, he's invisible, and then all of a sudden he somehow pulls something out, right? And it kind of helps us. Sometimes it doesn't help, sometimes it helps us to win the games. But those moments, right, are the ones that most of the fans justify, right? Why Havertz is good enough for the team and why he should be in the team, right? For me personally, that is not the case. For me, Havertz is a liability, and from a bench, alright, cool. I'm all fine him starting off the bench and Gyökeres being our main number 9. Then again, 265 grand a week. Bench player? Seriously? Like, that doesn't again feel to me like it's a very, very good thing. I'm not gonna lie. But Havertz actually, he was very anonymous, very frustrating to watch throughout the whole game. He has bulked up, as top gooners want to say, yet he was, well, weak as hell. Let's be real. He gets pushed off the ball, he trips over his own feet still. He trips off standing ball, like he could happen against AC Milan today as well, kinda, but not the same. But overall, he did the passing, he did everything. It was very weird performance from Kai Havertz, something you kind of expect him to do on occasion. But finishing, you could see that we need more. That's why we need a number 9 desperately. For 3.5 years, we needed the number 9. Mostly because he had an open header and he just didn't hit it even at the goal. It didn't bounce him off his forehead or something. It bounced straight from the top of his head and just went into Rose. And that pretty much shows why Havertz cannot be our number 1 guy. Now, speaking of substitutions, it was very, very, very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, because at halftime, Newcastle pretty much changed their whole 11. Then they scored. It was 2-2, and it looked like it's gonna be very weird, right? Then Odegaard came off for Arsenal at halftime. Still the same Odegaard in certain situations, right? He was too weak, he held on the ball too much, and it was pretty much the game that epitomized the Odegaard, right? Because he nutmegged the player, we go on a counter, and he stops, stands back, and passes the ball backwards. And that was, again, what Odegaard does every single game, which why most of the Arsenal fans, including myself, is hella frustrated with him, don't want him at the club. If we sign Eze, we want Eze to start and Odegaard to be benched, right? At the same time, he actually did better than he usually does. And whether it's that he's getting back his confidence, whether the fact that he finally is free of injuries, as Top Gunners want to tell us, because Top Gunners still were justifying him not being good enough against AC Milan, because his ankle was hurt. Like, if your ankle still hurts after nearly a year, like, that is an obvious problem, let's be real, so you shouldn't be playing at all. But overall, he had some shots from distance, he tried some thread-the-needle through balls, which was quite nice to see. It kind of worked to some extent. The issue is, Calafiori gets injured again. Kivior comes on in 49th minute, Calafiori is injured once again. And this is the biggest issue. We just got rid of Tomiyasu. On mutual consent, we terminated the contract, he's out of the club. Happy days. Or it would seem so, at least, right? At the same time, now Calafiori gets injured once again. What's gonna happen with Calafiori, I have no idea. Same goes with Gabriel. There are rumors that he has suffered a setback in the recovery of his ACL injury, that he could miss another month or two. I don't know how that's gonna look. I'm gonna look into it for the stream. That's again, it's gonna happen today at 8 p.m. UK time. Join me there, subscribe, and we're gonna talk about it, all that and everything. But it is actually nuts. And of course, the usual players came on, like Zinchenko, Josh Nichols, Salmon, Norgard, Martinelli, Rice. But I must talk about Max Dowman. Oh my god! Max Dowman. He is him. Literally, figuratively, however you want to define the word, he is him. Max Dowman is him at the end of the day. If you look how he played today again, second game in a row, he had Newcastle's defense on strings. He was gliding through defenders, taking them on, dangerous shots which nearly resulted in goal and everything. Of course, the penalty. He won us the penalty, which resulted in Odegaard putting it away, which ended up us winning the game in the regular time 3-2, which genuinely makes me to believe that Max Dowman is him. And to be honest, at the moment, at least after 2 games in preseason before we play Spurs, right, and then we fly back to England, so far the theme of the preseason actually hasn't been the signings, hasn't been the new style or system, because in my opinion that still needs to be changed because we see still too much of the same old. It's been the youngsters. Vanieri, fantastic. Max Dowman, literally in these 2 games he has shown that he is him. He actually can do it. He will do it, and he actually shows that he's ready to start. Not maybe start, but he's ready to be a full-on rotation, in full-on rotation. He's only 15, 16. He's ready to play full-grown minutes. Because if you look like how he played against Newcastle, already one of the toughest matchups Arsenal get throughout the whole season of the 50, 60 games we play throughout the whole calendar season, he was just phenomenal. Yes, I know I'm hyping him up from a preseason. I realize that because for me, again, preseason, you cannot judge players too much. You cannot judge stamina, fitness, system too much and everything, results too much. You cannot jump on that. At the same time, Max Dowman has showed his quality in under 16s. where he literally dog walks them. In under 21s, 18s, he does the same goddamn thing. Only way they could have stopped him was with the fouls. Literally getting physical with him, making him feel the pain in the bone with the fouls. That's the only way. Otherwise, he was passing through it, he was pressing, he was tackling, he was doing everything perfectly to a T. And the way he was running from the right, cut in on his left, took a shot. And I think it was Paul Rudd who was in goal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, John Ruddy. Not Paul Rudd, sorry, that's an actor. John Ruddy who made the save. It was full-on stretch, he barely saved it. So I think Max Dowman overall is him. So I'm not gonna lie, there were some positives we can take so far from this game and the previous game. In terms of Max Dowman, Manieri, some players like obviously Norgard actually didn't look too bad, Zubimendi and players like that. Obviously, Havertz looks still crap, I'm not gonna lie. Same goes with Martinelli to some extent. This game more specifically, we have to see if it's just a one-off, but Odegaard looks like he might be getting his confidence back, even though I don't like Odegaard as much. Maybe he can go up to it, because it's very hard to do much worse than he did last season, let's be real. So we're gonna have to wait and see for that. Now I'm interested to see whether Gyökeres is gonna play against the Spurs. The big question is where is Mosquera, because he also wasn't with the squad for this game, so maybe against Spurs we will see more of him. But again, the biggest thing is Calafiori is injured again. For how long he's gonna be out? Because technically he's our left back cover. If we take Kivior as our left center back cover, then Calafiori is our left back cover. And now again Miles Lewis-Skelly has been hung out to dry to some extent. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what's gonna happen with that, what's gonna happen with Gabriel. But yeah, ultimately I'm quite excited to see Max Dowman to play in Premier League. I'm really want to see him play in Premier League to see what is what. Because so far in pre-season, and based on what I saw last season, in obviously in the under 16s, under 18s, 21s, and all this stuff, oh my goodness gracious. He literally could be him. So let me know down in comments below what you think about the game, about Max Dowman, about Odegaard, Havertz, Martinelli, about the game as a whole, about specific players if you want. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. 8 p.m. today there is a stream, and I hope to see you there. Peace.